I'm Andrea Houston with Extra, and December 1st is World AIDS Day. This Sunday there will be a discussion here in Toronto about the state of HIV. I'm speaking with Ron Rosenes, who is one of the presenters, who is leading a discussion on HIV and aging. So UNAIDS just released their numbers from 2012. 35.3 million people globally are living with HIV. 2.3 million people have become newly infected with HIV. 1.6 million have died from AIDS-related illnesses. 2.1 million adolescents were living with HIV in 2012. Are those numbers concerning to you? Because it does seem like the numbers are going up.
Well, they are, of course. For many years, I've had the opportunity to work with the International AIDS Society, to go to the international conferences and to meet with people from around the world, and to try to translate a lot of the advocacy we did here at the Canadian Treatment Action Council around access to medications. And our concerns are the following. While on the one hand, we just saw the Americans who have really, and this is the only good thing we can say about the previous president, George W. Bush, is that he is responsible really for the PEPFAR program. And that has resulted in tremendous funds going into the Global Fund and our ability to treat people using approved generic medications. So the good news is that last week the US Congress approved funding that will try to take the number of people on treatment from 6 million to 12 million worldwide. One thing that's really holding us back are these international trade agreements. And Canada is a participant in some of these international trade partnerships. One with the Trans-Pacific Partnership comes to mind right now.
It's happening in Salt Lake City right now.
Yes, and we've seen there the American government, which on the one hand, is funding the Global Fund and helping to provide cheap medicines to people, is at the same time pushing for agreements through these partnerships which extend patent protection and risk making access to generic medicines much more challenging. So that's something that we really have to focus on.
What are the major issues with HIV and aging, and what are people looking forward to?
Well, there are a couple of things. We have about 70,000 people roughly living with HIV in Canada. And while the number of new infections has gone down over time, we still have this bubbling number in Ontario of about 1,000 or more new infections each year. And a surprising number of those are actually in people over the age of 50. So we see some of them among adolescents, but we also see a higher than expected rate of new diagnoses among people who are over the age of 50. So part of our message is around prevention. But the other aspect, and it's the one that I personally feel I'm living along with a lot of other people who never thought we would get to enjoy the pleasures of being over 50. And I'm in my mid-60s now and have been living with HIV for over 30 years. And despite the fact that my HIV and the HIV of many of my friends and colleagues is well controlled on antiretroviral drugs, we are, as a group, encountering some problems which have been described as accelerated aging or premature aging. I call it shit happening many years before these types of things would happen in the general population. So we have some people becoming frail at the age of 50 or younger. And 50 is a very arbitrary number. We see signs of premature aging even in people over the age of 40, and we don't even know what's going to be happening with people who've been on antiretroviral treatment from their earliest days of their lives. So it's posing a lot of questions, a lot of issues, and it's also going to raise a lot of questions as to how we're going to get looked after when we get really old and really decrepit.
Now, are long-term care facilities and nursing homes, are they prepared for this?
Well, I think they're really beginning to think about it. One of the things that we really have to do is begin to work directly with the providers of long-term service care so that they understand they're going to be having a demand for services from people who are much younger than they've seen in the past. So that's a big issue. On the other hand, organizations like Casey House are undergoing a capital fund to add to their facilities and at their site on Jarvis to add additional hospital rooms. So they're gearing up to really begin to accommodate the needs of people aging with HIV who may need to go into a very specialized setting. And that's where people who might be, HIV positive and gay or using substances and so on could find a really great level of very sensitive care. So that's something to be excited about, I think. But I have a feeling that the demand is soon going to outstrip the supply.
So World AIDS Day, we're looking ahead to some big things happening both here and abroad. Thank you so much, Ron, for joining me today and speaking about these really important issues.
My pleasure. I'm glad I could be here with you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.